Hi everybody, thanks for pressing play on the video today. It's Caroline here from craftycarolinecreates.com. Today's project is this very pretty little gift box. Let me show you how it opens. So it's hinged, there's a hinge lid in the middle and it just opens, and it has these really cute little ribbons that hold the lid and stop it from falling down. It's actually an idea, it was very much inspired by a project I saw by a very talented lady called Sam Clayton, who you may know from Mixed Up Crafts. She has been doing some really lovely projects over on her blog and YouTube. She's not a Stampin' Up demonstrator, unfortunately. She lives in China due to her husband's work, so she can't be a demonstrator, which is a real shame because she would be amazing, and she is amazing. Definitely go and check out her box. Her box is a lot more elaborate version than mine. Mine is kind of a little bit more simplified, and I asked her if I could case it a long time ago, and I've not got round to it, and this is, you know, the first time I've got around to it. But I just love these little ribbons, and that's what her box sort of sparked in me, was thinking about these ribbons, which I think just add that little bit of extra something, don't they? Reminds me of a jewellery box. Oh, throw my bone folder on the floor. It reminds me of a jewellery box I had when I was a little girl. These sort of ribbons to stop the lid falling back, and I just think just adds a little bit something extra special. Right, so I put a link to Sam's work below, so do go and check her out. But if I can get this to close, there we go, it does close up easily. I will show you how I made my version. So I'm going to start with some scoring. I have a sheet of garden green cardstock. This measures 8.5 by 7.5. All of the dimensions, as always, are on craftycarolinecreates.com. And we are going to use the Lots of Love stamp set, and we are going to use this sort of 3-leaf motif, which I've already mounted. And I have some garden green ink, so we're going to do tone on tone stamping. Okay, just pull that in. And all we are going to do is just randomly stamp this image all over the cardstock. I'm just going to twist it as I go, so we get it in all different orientations, and this sort of spacing. Okay, something like that. And now we are ready to do a bit of scoring. So let's bring in the scoreboard. Okay. And we're going to start with the long side along the top. Flip it over. You know I always prefer to score with the pattern side facing down. So score 8.5 along the top, and very simply 2, 4, 6 and 8. Flip it round 90 degrees, so we've got a 7.5 at the top, and we're going to score this at 2 inches, 4 inches and 5.5 inches. Okay. Let's pop this down and out of the way, and we are going to do some scoring and burnishing. Sorry, not scoring. We've already scored, so let's do our burnishing. All those score lines just need to be burnished. Okay. And we're just going to fold all of those lines. Okay. Now before we do that, I forgot we need to do a little bit more scoring, so let me bring back in the scoreboard. Okay, so just pop that down, there we go. And then I have a piece of very vanilla cardstock. This measures 6 7/8 by 6 7/8, and we're going to score this on 4 sides at 2.5 inches. And then again we can just fold and burnish these pieces. Okay, and now let's get our scissors, and this is just a very simple box, but we're gonna make it a little bit different. So we're gonna cut up one of these corners like that, turn it 90 degrees, cut up the next corner, turn it 90 degrees, and cut up the next corner, and then the last one again 90 degrees. So each of those cuts are sort of offset against each other, so you get kind of like a windmill effect going round like that. Okay, and then all we're going to do is on these flaps we've made on each corner, we're just going to cut up and chop them off like that. Okay, cut up, chop them off. No. Cut up and chop them off. There we go. And cut up and chop off like that. So we get something that looks a bit like that. Okay. Just put these scraps in the bin. And we're just going to do a tiny little bit of stamping on here. What I've got is another set from Lots of Love mounted up, and it is this one here. Yep, I was just checking, I went for that one. It is that one. And I've got some fresh fig ink. And what we're going to do now is along the top of each of these sections, this is going to poke out a little bit when we make our box up. So we're just going to do a little bit of stamping along the edge there, and we'll just see that bit poking out when we make up a box like that. Something like this, and then the last one, here we go. There we go. Okay, so we can build this box up really simple. We're just going to put a little bit of fuse along each of these 4 flaps. And then we're just going to fold up box. So these flaps all fold in and we make a nice box. Okay, so this is the easy bit done. The next bit's easy, just a little bit more complicated. So there's our box with our little stamping around the edge. Let's bring this piece back in, and we're going to do a little bit of cutting on this, quite a bit of cutting. Firstly, on either end we've got a 2-inch square here and here. So we're going to cut up this score line and this score line, this score line, this score line, all the way across. Okay, and then when we get to the end, just cut that little bit off. Okay, you can do exactly the same on the other side, as I said. Cut that little bit off. I'm going to go up here, and lastly up here. Okay, and that's going to fold up like this to make our box. Okay, so this is going to be our lid, this little bit, and this is going to be our base. And what we now need to do is cut all the way along this middle score line up to 1, 2, 3. So we're only going to leave this little bit still connected. Okay. There we go. All right. Now time to build up this box. So we are going to put some fuse along this section here, and what we also need to do is we need to cut up that little score line there, so that all that is connected is that line there, and that's going to be a hinge of our box. Okay, so now we're going to put a little bit of fuse on each of these 2 flaps, 1 2. And then just fold over this section and press it down there. And you can see that pops up and half of our box is formed. Then fold over the next section and press that down, and that folds up the second part of our box, and that is our hinge for our lid. So now what we're going to do is turn this round, and we're just going to seal up our base. So that is going to seal up like that. So I'm just going to use Tombow for this. You can use fuse. Don't know why I like to use Tombow, but I just kind of so a little bit of Tombow on the base there. I think it's because it gives you a little bit more wiggle room to make sure you have got it square. A little bit more there. Okay, so that's the base of our box, and we do exactly the same for the top. So a bit of Tombow on each layer just to make sure that this seals up. Especially in the corners. There we go, and you can just press down to make sure that seals up nicely. And you can see there is our box. And what we can now check is this little bit that we made, it does push down nicely inside, and it all flops over and seals up like that. And when we pop out, we can see that little bit of stamping. I'm just going to turn that round and see which side you like best to be your front, something like that. There we go. Okay, now this is the Sam inspiration bit. We're going to make that little ribbon closure. So here is some gorgeous new ribbon. This is called Fresh Fig, and it is the sheer ribbon. It's very thin. It's only a 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, but it is a really nice ribbon. And I know I need 2 pieces that are about 3 inches long. I'm just going to cut those off. Sam uses a gorgeous chain on hers. Definitely go over, as I said, and check this out. And then we need a glue dot on the end, on each end. Okay. And we're going to start by attaching this about 1/2 inch inside, down inside, can you see there? And then what we want to do is pull our box back so that our lid is at about 90 degrees to the base, and then just pull this across and stick it down on our other side. Okay, and then do exactly the same on the other side. So stick it about 1/2 inch down inside like that, and then we can just pull it across. And you want to, now the second one's always a little bit trickier to make sure you get it taut, and I should have put the glue dot on the other end before I put it in, but we can do that now. There we go. And just pull that taut, and you just want to put it in at roughly the same sort of angle so that they look symmetrical when we open it up, something like that. Okay, and I said it's always a little bit, it seems always a little bit harder to get the second side taut, but there we go, I think that's about right. Okay, so when that is glued in, we just need to slide in our little liner, and there we go. And then all we need to do is pop that up like that, and it seals up nicely. I think that's really nice, isn't it? It just gives that little bit of ribbon, just gives that little bit, really a lot extra, doesn't it? It just makes it look so much prettier, in my opinion. Okay, we're just going to do a little bit of embellishment on the outside, and we're just going to, it does close up easily, just make sure that when you fold it, you tuck those ribbons inside, and then it closes up nicely like that. Just going to put a little embellishment on the front. So I have some more Very Vanilla cardstock, and I have this Thinking of You sentiment, again from Lots of Love. It's Lots of Love. Did I call it Love You Lots before? Love You Lots was a stamp set in the old catalogue. This is Lots of Love. And we're going to do this in Fresh Fig. ink that up nicely. Stamp that down, look at that. Very nice, isn't it? And this will punch out very nicely for you with the 1 3/4 of an inch circle punch. So we'll just do that now, so that lines up nicely with a little bit of a border. And then bring in my box, which is my front. So this is my front here. Oh, it closes up again, there we go. And I'm just going to use some dimensionals on the upper part of this, just like that. The backs will come up, and then I'm just going to stick this sort of over the centre, just like that, so that that will open up. There we go. What do you think? I think it is a really nice sort of simplified version of Sam's box. If you want to see the elaborate one, do go over and check his out, Mixed Up Crafts, and I will put a link below. And I will be back with another video next week, but I do have some card inspiration for you over the weekend. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.